Hi, and welcome to session 1 in our series called Inner Life. My name is Pastor Chris Ong, and we're going to be taking a look at the parts of our lives that can't really be seen easily. Can I start by just asking a question? How would you describe yourself? You know, it's said that Westerners, they describe themselves in categories. Like I grew up here in Australia, so I might describe myself as an accountant, a pastor, a Gen X, maybe I'm a gamer, right? And we use categories to describe ourselves. It's said that in the East, people describe themselves relationally. So if I'm describing myself, I might go, I'm a father, I'm second uncle, I am a husband, whatever it is. But did you know that how you view yourself, how you describe yourself actually makes a big difference in how we relate to other people and how we relate to God? In today's passage in 1 Thessalonians 5:23, it says this, "Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit and soul and body be kept blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ." You know, God shows us that we are actually not just our body, right? Rather, we have parts of us that can't be seen, like our soul and our spirit. Actually, all aspects of our life are meant to be sanctified by God. That means that all parts of our life are meant to be made more and more like Christ. But the reality is that we're not used to seeing ourselves this way. It's rare that we would describe ourselves with other people as, oh, the spirit man or woman. It's hard to see how we're doing on the inside. But much like a tree with a root system or an iceberg that has a massive body underwater, we are actually rich and deep creations. And we have much more going on the inside of us than we realize. But our world prioritizes and rewards the things that can be seen. How you look, your achievements, what things can you do, even what do you own, like your car, your clothes, your toys. Psalms 139, 14-16 says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are rich in depth, and there is a wonderful inner part of our life that can reflect God himself. You know, if we have a shallow view of our lives, we actually end up shortchanging our relationship with God and our interactions with him. It can also flow on to our life and interactions with other people. If we just view our relationship with your children as, oh, well, I'm the dad, I provide food and money, and that's all there is to me. Well, then you're shortchanging yourself on a deep, rich relationship with your children, or your spouse, or your best friend. Some of us, if we are not careful about how we view our lives, we can end up having a very shallow existence, and we block out what God how God can relate with us. Some of the things we can do if we have a shallow view is, one, we can ignore emotions, right? We can deny and suppress them rather than acknowledging that emotions are a very real part of our lives and that we're supposed to process them well. How are you doing emotionally? Sometimes we spiritualize away emotional pain. Right? So this shallow view might lead us to think that church language is a quick way to deal with issues. Like maybe I have unforgiveness with you over something that you've done to me in the past, and I just say, oh, you know what? God asked me to forgive, so I've forgiven. But you haven't really dealt with it on the inside. Another thing we do if we have a shallow view is we focus on performance or the outside view of things. So we think, oh, our Christian walk is just, did I show up to church on Sunday? Did I say hello to uncle and auntie? And that's it. That is the main part of Christian life. It's so superficial. Another thing we do if we're shallow in our view is we deny actually our interconnected lives and how the past and our history can actually affect us today. And we think of our lives just as the present. What are we doing today? How do I get through this week? But actually, we're richer than that. We're the history of all of the things that have happened to us, but also the history of the culture that we were born into. And finally, if we have a wrong view of Christian life, a shallow view, we can end up compartmentalizing our walk with God so that it just ends up being things I do on Sunday, things I do when I'm thinking about God, instead of inviting God into all of our lives. So I'll read once again today's passage in 1 Thessalonians 5:23. Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely. May your whole spirit and soul and body be kept blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. I hope you have a bit of a discussion today in your home group about how we view ourselves and the richness of the creation that God has made in us, in the very likeness and image of God. God bless.